Welcome to you guys watching on the replay.
My name is Alex Pettitt, and if you don't know me or you don't already follow me, I have been on Periscope since day one, since the day it came out, 25th of March, and that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this broadcast over a year ago. Over a year I've been on this app. And so I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything. It's your chance to ask any question in the world in here. Can I just check, as you guys are coming in live, can you just put like a thumbs up emoji in the chat if the connection's all good now? And if it is, when I get the all clear from you guys that the connection is good, because if I just tried to do this broadcast and we had some issues. Yes. Sweet. Thank you, Mfrab. Thank you, OR, Techi. We're good to go. Better now, Jeffrey. Good, I'm glad. Right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to do the whole spiel again, guys, because you had to sit through that last time. So what I'm just going to say is, now that we have a working broadcast, please would you, if you wouldn't mind, and I'd love it if you could do so, share the broadcast out. Okay, so swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click the share button and share this out. You can share it out on Twitter just like Atol's done. Our Everyday Live has invited the followers. Summer Babe shared it out on Twitter. So it's up to you. You can share it out on Twitter. You can also share it out on Facebook. And of course, you can invite your Periscope followers along to this broadcast as well. 164 of you in here. Thank you, Red Hearts, who's tapping away. Let me tell you, here's what I'm going to do very quickly in this broadcast. I want to just share with you the story of how I got started with Periscope. I'll also tell you like what my favourite broadcast I've ever done was. But this broadcast is all about you guys, okay? Follow spree. I can do a follow spree between the end. I'll follow some of you. I'm 24, JR Jojo. But this broadcast is all about you. Get your question. It just flashed. Yeah. Hi, caramba. I can broadcast from a castle with limited 3G, but sat here with high-speed Wi-Fi. Frozen, Alex. Bad connection. Why does it always rain on me? It's because my Wi-Fi's... We are crashing it. Well, there are 240 of you in here. My iPhone is just not having it, and I'm actually using a different Periscope app for this one, so I know it's not my phone or anything like that. It's just a Periscope issue, seems to be. Anyway, you can still see me for some reason, so I'm just going to keep going. I can see your comments when I look down here. So, my story of how I joined Periscope very quickly was, I've been into live broadcasting for 5+ years, guys. It freezes, jump in and back out. Okay, so Brandy in the chat says, if you're freezing, exit the broadcast, then jump back in. That should fix it. Good advice. Hey, Euromaestro, how are you doing? So I've been into broadcasting. I started in broadcasting when I was 17. Actually, 16 is when I started. I started in radio. And I started by presenting a weekly sports show. I'm actually going to move you guys so that I can see the comments and kind of still look towards you. This is a fun scope already. There we go. I'm sorry that it looks like I'm looking down on you, but it's so that I can see your comments over here. I'm freezing. I put on a jumper. You're a maestro. So I started in broadcasting when I was 16 by presenting a radio show for, I think, 2 or 3 years, a weekly sports show. They had me doing everything, guys. Jumping out of planes. A lot of it was flying based. Fencing. I was nicknamed the Danger Man. Anyway, from then on, I loved broadcasting. I went on to university. I set up a TV station at university. I then went to work for a social media agency. Thank you, AJ. I then went to work for a social media agency creating online TV shows using YouTube Live. And basically, that is a very long story cut very short for you guys, because this broadcast for me is all about your questions. I want to hear your questions. So, just cut a long story short of when my first Periscope broadcast was and how I ever discovered Periscope. I was working at Twitter the day that Periscope launched to create an online YouTube TV show for the UK government about voting. I was using that other app, you know, that one Meerkat, in the Twitter offices. They weren't too happy that I was using their competitor's app in their offices. And so I didn't get an ultimatum like, stop using it, we'll chuck you out. But I got a nice person tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, don't use this app. Use the one that we're just about to launch. And so I managed to get an early release, or like I say early release, like a 10-minute just before it was about to go live early release of Periscope jumped on. My first ever broadcast was in the Twitter offices with their head of broadcasting at Twitter, I think it was. I was so nervous. I didn't really know too much what I was doing, but it just happened, it went. And I think this is a lesson for everyone. Meerkat who? Colf, Joe? I think this is a lesson for everyone in here. It's like, if this is your first broadcast, if you've never hit the start broadcast button yet, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to not know what you're doing. That's totally fine, guys. As long as you're having fun, that's fine. You're a pioneer. Thank you. So yes, I did do my first broadcast on the day that Periscope started. How many of you were nervous to hit the start broadcast button for the first time? Just say me in the chat now, and hopefully it doesn't crash. By the way, I'm going to leave my story at that because I don't want to do much talking. I want to answer your questions. So start putting your questions in the chat now. I think this is incredible because look, this is a whole confidence boost for anyone in here that has never done a broadcast. Can see that everyone else who has done their first broadcast was nervous on their first broadcast. So it's okay to be nervous, guys. Why does Periscope reveal the broadcaster's exact location? They've actually zoomed out slightly. So they don't now reveal the exact location like they used to, but it's still a bit too, in my opinion, a bit too close for comfort. All right, questions, guys. Is Periscope losing popularity? I personally just think there's other things on the market that people want to try. I don't think it's losing popularity. I think that there's just, people have been trying Busker this week. Last week they were trying Facebook Live. I can still see houses. Summer Babe, I'll come on to your question a little bit later on in the broadcast. Keep it. It should just say the city. I agree. So, for those of you just joining, this is an Ask Me Anything. My name is Alex Pettitt. I talk a lot about Periscope. I give you guys top tips. I also do behind the scenes at events. And Periscope has actually become very much my full-time job, which is what I'm going to talk about as well. Why do you have so many followers? It's a great question, JR Jojo. So, when Periscope first started, they had this thing called the Most Loved list, which basically was, it is what it says on the tin, the most loved broadcasters on Periscope. It was that and it wasn't that. But anyway, if you were on that most loved list, you got around about, sometimes it was up to 5,000 followers a day. I and a couple of other people were on that most loved list, and so it meant that we just got followers quite easily. People seemed to like what I was doing. Because he knows Brandy. Keep your questions coming in, guys. This is your chance to ask me any question. I don't do an AMA very often. What's my middle name? Emma Rob 1981. Great question. I've never revealed this on Periscope because I tend not to reveal it ever in life. My middle names are... Do I have my passport? No. My middle names, I have two, are... Ashley's got one. Charles and Louis. Now... I'm guessing Ashley would have got that from one of my photos, which I accidentally tweeted out of my passport. So yeah, my full name is Alexander Charles Louis Pettitt. Did you lose your job? Minu, great question. Oh my god, I'm calling you Charles from now on, AJ. Great question. Did I lose my job? So, my story with Periscope is, Periscope got big for me fast, and it was crazy. It was ridiculous, guys. I went from 0 followers on Periscope and only having 300 Twitter followers to having 250,000 followers and having 12,000 Twitter followers in less than 9 months. And when that happens, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but you just get phone calls from everyone and their brother and sister. I still do have brands calling me up and ridiculous deals I'm doing and things like that to produce really cool content for you guys, to be fair. But it changed my life. The point that I'm trying to make is I had a full-time job. I was working for this amazing social media company. It was a job that in the beginning I absolutely loved. But towards the end, I was thinking maybe this isn't quite the right thing for me. And Periscope blew up. And this is a lesson in life. I was I'm 20. At the time, I was 23. I said to myself, I'm 23. I'm out of university, and I'm going to tell you a story about that as well. I'm out of university. I think from the age of, let's say, 22 to 28, I can make mistakes. I can really fuck up my life, okay? I don't want to do that, but I can. And what I mean is, in my view, the age from 22 to 28 is the time to take the risks. Because when you're 28 and start thinking about getting married and start thinking about maybe putting a mortgage on a house and start thinking about other things, dependencies, and tying you down, that's when you can't take risks anymore. So from 22 to 28, which is, I'm in that bracket now, I'm like, I want to try and create some dreams and live out those dreams. Gary Vee calls that punting. Cool. I didn't find my career till your 30s. Ron. Exactly. I don't think many people know what they want to do when they come out of college. If you had 30 seconds to tell everyone in the entire world something, what would you tell them? That's a really good question. Who was that? Jeremy. I would say work out. Oh, that's a really good question. I would say do something. Don't live life like your parents, unless you really want to live life like your parents. But it's create your own dreams. I would honestly say create your own dreams and live them. Because in society we're brought up to do exactly as our parents tell us and exactly as our parents did. It's like, oh, our parents believe we should be doctors and lawyers, and there's nothing wrong with being doctors and lawyers. But if you're born and you're like, that's not what I want to do, you shouldn't be molded into thinking you should do that. There's some incredible artists in the world. There's some incredible musicians in the world. And most of the time, parents are like, no, you've got to go into this kind of thing. You've got to make the money. Don't worry about the money. Do what you love. The money will come. How's the elbow? Knock up blonde? It's good, thank you. Your values are generally what your parents showed you. How do you make money? Good question. Personalize. So, for those of you asking, like, how do I make money with Periscope? I often get asked, and I put this in my Twitter today, do Periscope pay you? No. Periscope don't pay me or any other broadcaster, as far as I'm aware, any money at all. Okay, there's no advertising on Periscope, so we don't make money from our broadcasts. Be true to yourself, MPS Odek, I agree. Do titles help capture viewers? I will talk about that as well, bad boy. So, how do I make money? There's a number of revenue streams. Number one, in terms of through broadcast on Periscope, I team up with a number of brands, sometimes broadcasters as well, where I will be paid, let's say, to feature a product. I will work with a very select number of brands, people that I really, really do genuinely believe in. So one of the brands that I work with the most, for example, is Archon. They make tripods. There's at least 5 on my desk right now because I love them. So, brands. The other thing I do is I am a live streaming consultant, and that brings in probably the most money. So I work with a lot of broadcasters and, again, brands to consult on how they should do their social media and their live streaming. The third thing, guys, is through speaking at events. Shout out to Aaron. Yeah, exactly, Aaron from Archon. Am I being sponsored to hold this pen? It is an energy drink, but no, I'm not being sponsored. Such a cool job. Yet you only use 1 or 2 tripods. I broke one the other day. What's a good way to email list building from scoping? So this is an interesting one. That I know that a software has just come out or is coming out where people can put their email address in the chat and then it takes it and puts it into an email list. This massively worries me because all I then need to do is use another service to look at your chat and say, okay, thank you for that email address, and I'm just going to send my email to you as well. Just never forget that Periscope is public. So in terms of how can you email list building safely, I would just say broadcast great content and then drive to a very simple link for people to sign up to your email address. So I have my domain, which I absolutely love, which is alex.live. So it's easy to say on a broadcast. I can just say, hey, go visit alex.live, and I could actually redirect that to my subscription mailing list. All right, I do steal pens from big businesses. Can we do a round of quick fire questions? So give me one or the other answer, and then we'll go back to the AMA. So like it's pizza or pasta, summer or winter. I want to try and get through as many questions as possible. Jurassic Info says, dogs or cats? I'm a dog person, but I am warming up to cats. I just spent a month in Florida with 2 cats. Mr. Samir, I'm going to come on to that. Do I think my Periscope career is a success? No. Well, I'm going to answer that quickly. No, because I'll never be happy with what I have. I'm always striving for more. Contacts or glasses? Denise, glasses, but I'm getting more into contacts. So you'll see me a lot more without my glasses. Hot or cold? I'm a hot person. Brandy or pickles? I love pickles, but brandy wins every day. Cycling or running? Keeping of life, it was cycling up until I broke my arm the other day. Comedy or action? Action. See you later, summer babe. Twitter or Instagram? Twitter for me. I'm revamping my Instagram, guys. Cars or women? That's like saying F1. Or I was going to say F1 or brandy. Women. But when I say women, it's more like woman. Do I like the new update? I do. Knockout Blonde. I think it's cool. Women or Periscope? AJ Joshi, you bring me on to my next topic, which is again on the timeline of events. I should probably tell you guys the story of losing someone because of Periscope. Hence why I asked. US or UK? US. So, for those of you that followed me from the beginning, and thank you guys still for sharing out, I can see the share notifications on the screen, thank you. For those of you that followed me in the beginning, when I first started Periscope, I was actually in a relationship with someone here in the UK. And we used to do broadcasts together on my channel. And I'll be honest with you, like, I got pretty addicted to Periscope. Like, I got addicted to Periscope fast. I freaking was on it every day for hours. And I don't know if we were together for 3 years before Periscope came out, and then suddenly it's like someone or something else comes in and just takes up all that time. How is Emily, by the way? I haven't spoken to her. So Emily was the ex. So basically, to cut a very long story short, the longer Periscope was there and I was on it, we just really started drifting apart, and until we started having arguments. And then we called it a day a couple of months after that. You, addicted to Periscope voice actor? So yeah, there have been many ups, but also downs with Periscope. The ups have been, I now own my own business and I love traveling around the world and being able to work anywhere in the world. The downs were, that was quite a down time when, for me, and in my honest opinion, I was always saying to her, I don't see what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to do something I love. I love broadcasting. This app is really cool. What's wrong with me being on this app? And it just didn't work for her how much time I was spending on that app. So I lost something from that. Yeah. And the reason I speak about this, guys, is because I spoke about it with a couple of other Periscopers, and I didn't realise how many people have actually gone through the same thing. How many broadcasters have gone through the same thing. Why don't you talk with Emily anymore? I don't know. I mean, advice from you guys. Has staying in contact with an ex really ever worked? It's just, I want my own separate life, and I'm pretty sure she wanted her own separate life. So we did just that. Always remember one thing. Someone that truly loves you will let you do what you love. AJ, that is a stellar piece of advice. At your age, career is the most important thing. That's an amazing point as well, Brandy, because in the end, I chose my career. Never a good idea. True. Should Periscope broadcast be scheduled or random? I know it all depends. It's a bit of both. If breaking news happens in front of you, go live. If you have the time to plan something, I like doing it that. Am I in a relationship now? I don't know how to answer this one, and that's like, honestly, that's my honest answer to it. There is someone that I adore massively, but things are complicated, and there's 4,000 miles in between. Or when you get sponsored, do you email a company asking you to sponsor, or do they email you? It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both now. I think 50% of each. Anyways, good luck. Thank you, Bobby. Stop, I'm blushing, MPS Old Oak. I'm pretty sure we still need a beer. Who's your favourite cop on Periscope? Cough, cough. If you can bail me out for some of the things I do, you're my favourite cop. So what business do I own? Wait, before I always remember one thing, miles mean nothing with someone that... AJ is becoming like the king of these always remember one thing. We're like a soap opera, M-Frat. Well, if you follow us both on Periscope and Snapchat, it's true, we are. Do you feel you were given an ultimatum in the original relationship? Yes. Alex, answer. Am I in a relationship now or not? Wow, this Ask Me Anything has taken a turn. I did say personal questions are fine. All I will... I do not know how to answer this, guys. You are putting me in a position. You should definitely move to Florida. I would love to move to Florida. I am blushing. Who's your favourite, mum or dad? My mum. You know, my mum has always been there for me, but she's always, as well, at the same time, and I respect her massively for this, been very hands-off, in a way. Just say you're seeing somebody. That would have been a lot easier. I probably could have kept a straight face with that as well, Bobby. I saw the broadcast you shared from the guitar player. Crazy how you changed his following. That was on the early days. That was pretty... Mum's never been blocked, AJ, yeah. That was on the early days. If you weren't around and following me then, I just was on the map view on Periscope. And this is how Periscope can kind of change lives. Still working on that answer, eh, Miss Jones? This is how Periscope can change lives. I saw a guy playing his guitar. There were 3 people in his room, and I was like, dude, what's your favourite song to play? And he started playing this amazing song. And so I invited my followers, and his broadcast went from 3 to over 300. And I didn't know what that would mean to him at the time, but there's a video of it somewhere on YouTube. But this guy has been hustling so hard to be seen, and it's what the advice that I gave you in the beginning: do something you love. And that's exactly what he was doing day in, day out. He was playing guitar because he loved it, but he said, like, it's just so hard to be seen by anyone. And he had 3 people in his room when he started, and so as he was playing and he was seeing the number on the right hand side go up, he just kind of broke down into tears. And it was the most emotional moment. And for me, it was, shit, this app can really change lives. You remember the guitar one? Yeah, there is a video on YouTube. And then the other one, like, it's a story that I told at Periscope Summit. And usually when I tell the story, it chokes me up. But New York in January, this time last year, September it was. Sorry, not January. New York for the first ever Periscope Summit. Before I went, I knew I wanted to go to Ground Zero. And Periscope from Ground Zero, but I wasn't sure how to do it, so I came onto Periscope. I asked you, I said, what's the best way? Should it be silent? Should I walk around? You know, and you gave me so much advice. We agreed on doing it a completely silent scope and just very smooth panning of the Ground Zero. And so I started and I broadcast live from there, and I was doing just that. And the comments that were coming in at first, guys, they were comments of, wow, isn't this beautiful? The waterfalls are amazing. Generally, people commenting on what they see. And then as people started to realise what it was, they were commenting and remembering where they were on that day. You know, just all through Periscope. Just like you're reading the comments now, I was sat there not saying anything, but moving and showing and reading people saying, I was with my sister when I saw the first plane crash. I was 2 blocks away when I thought, you know, everyone remembers where they were when they heard the tragic news of what was happening. And then I saw a comment, and never in my life, and still to this day, I have never had time stop in that way, where you feel like you are frozen in time. And what it was, as I was showing the names on the memorial, and as I looked down at the comments, there was a girl called Erica in the comments who just said, "You're standing next to my dad," and it sent shivers down my spine. It was incredible. As it was, she thought I was at the North Tower, but actually I was at the South Tower. So together on Periscope, and this for me summed up the full power of Periscope. Together we worked out where I was, where her dad's name was on the other tower, and we actually went and we found them. And Erica lives in the UK, doesn't get to come out to New York that much, but through Periscope we were able to connect her live with her dad at the memorial site of Ground Zero. And like, I've never told anyone this, so I did say, well, actually I think I just told one person before this call, but I ended that scope and I was wrecked. Like, I cry. I don't cry that much, but it was the most emotional scope I've ever done. Can you? Okay, yeah. Back to you guys. Ask me anything. Questions in the chat now. Of course, you can ask Anna. Do you have a contact at Periscope people can contact about bullying on Periscope? Anna, very good question. I believe it's safety at periscope.tv. Could you recommend a good lube for in saltwater? No, but Dr. Zana probably can. I've never had sex in saltwater. I mean, I've done a lot, but I can safely say I've never done that. Take care, Miss Jones. Yeah, safety at periscope.tv. That will get, and they do check that regularly. King, I have answered that question about making money on Periscope. GoPro or drone? I'm now a big fan of the drone. Will you please follow me? Would mean a lot. Hold on, Jurassic. As long as it doesn't freeze. In fact, I'm going to write down your thing and follow you after. Keep typing Jurassic. JURASSIK info. Yeah, I got you. There we go. All you need is pepper for spice. Oh, a certain mermaid could. Knockout blonde going straight in there. All right, guys, a couple more minutes. So this is your last chance to ask any questions that you have about. About me, about Periscope, anything at all. If you're just joining, my name is Alex Pettitt. I give you guys loads of top tips about how to use Periscope. Tips and tricks, really, about whether you're a broadcaster or a viewer, how to use the app. I also do red carpet events, behind the scenes. I've got a really cool giveaway. How many of you are from the UK right now? Type the word UK in the chat if you're watching from the United Kingdom. What's your biggest achievement and what's next? Betty Boot, great question. Jurassic Info, Jeffrey's from the UK, Atoll, Oliver. Sweet, quite a lot. So if you're from the UK, make sure you are following. I'm going to be giving away, I think I'm giving away, I just need to check, I'm pretty sure, 2 tickets to I don't think I can say, okay. Don't hold me to this. I don't know if I can say too much just yet. Formula E, you guys know I do some bits with Formula E, and I take you behind the scenes with DS Virgin Racing. I'm going to be giving away, they're doing like a concert at the London E-Prix, and I've got some pretty special tickets to give away. So, keep an eye on my broadcast for that if you are in London. Anyway, questions. Someone said, I forgot the question. What was it? What's the name of my company? It is just me. I'm a consultant for live streaming. Any tips for hairdressers, Instagram or Periscope? Michelle, that's a really good question. I think Instagram is all about pictures, right? But sometimes, a picture does paint 1,000 words, but sometimes people want to know the background behind that picture. If you go and see a hairstyle, for example, if you see a hairstyle on Instagram, it's great, right? You can see it look good, and from a customer's point of view, they are like, oh, I want that. But what people seem to neglect is the power of the description of that photo. And a lot of people are just like, did this hairstyle today. A lot of hairdressers like, this was my colour today or whatever. Put some details in there. That makes your Instagram useful. Put what shade that colour was. Put, how long it stayed on for. The techniques that you use to do that if you are into colouring. Because it's like Pinterest, for example. Pinterest is only as powerful as the words that accompany the picture. How did you first get connected to the red carpet events? Cinnamon Danielle, I think that was. Good question. In my old job, I worked for E-Entertainment's E-Channel. 10% battery, but I'm plugged in. Really, iPhone? Does anyone else's iPhone do this? You are plugged in to the mains, but your battery is still draining. Anyway, I used to work in conjunction with E-Entertainment's E-Channel in the US, so the likes of E-News. They obviously cover the Oscars, they cover the Golden Globes, Grammys, whatever. So, so I used to do the red carpets with them for Twitter and for their Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook stuff. Now I'm doing more and more with them for Periscope. And I'm actually a live streaming consultant for the whole NBC Universal brand. So E-Channel is part of NBC Universal, and I am a live stream consultant for NBC Universal. Where's my... I got this the other day. Maybe I'll try and show you guys. Bear with. Look. There's my pass. Haha. So now I can get into all these really cool events. Yes. Am I going to come to Germany? There is actually a plan to hit Germany soon. I'll be able to say more about it soon, I think. If you could broadcast anything, what would it be? Hey, returning my question, AJ. Yeah, so official, yeah. If I could broadcast anything, what would it be? And the reason I say if I could broadcast anything, what would it be, is because I'm working towards it, to doing just this. My dream would be to sit in a Formula 1 car with a GoPro strapped to my head and drive it around a track. Now, that's not something that anyone really gets to do. So what I'm trying to do is actually, there's quite a large possibility that when I next work in Formula E, I'll be able to strap a GoPro, or now a drone, we'll be able to do a drone scope with, with Formula E, so that you guys can ride as if you're racing around the streets of London. That is something that I am working hard to do for you. Let's strap it to Lewis. More like Alex Hamilton. Keep the questions coming in. I'm going to take 5 more. 5 questions for this Ask Me Anything. I love doing Ask Me Anythings, but I don't do them too much. Hey, if you can strap it to Lewis, AJ, do it. What content would you like to see more of? What content would I like to see more of? Produced things. So AJ said on his Ask Me Anything he would like to see Periscope allow multiple cameras, angles and things like that. You know, we call it vision mixing and basically higher production value stuff. So I'd like to one day get to a point where I'm like, oh, I can't go out tonight. Oh, okay, not this. But where I sit on my sofa with my mobile phone and say, oh, XYZ show's on tonight, so I'm going to watch that with all my friends in the comments. So in the same way that when a football match is on, we all sit around the TV and watch the football match. I want to get like that with Periscope, where there's such a good there's such a good Periscope program on that everyone's like in that broadcast chatting with each other. It will be a new form of TV. I don't know how to explain it. That's what I would like to see. And that's what I'm working towards. That's what my dream of Periscope. What features would you like to see on Periscope? I think I'm just going to say with that, multiple. I'm going to call it API access to you guys, and it basically means the ability for us to not use the phone or not use a GoPro or not use a drone now, but to actually use any camera we want. Got a contact that would fund a filmmaker to get in touch. That's cool. My favourite scopers. This is always the hardest question because you always end up offending so many people. Okay. I'm going to pick 3. I am going to pick Brandy Anthony in here because she's a mermaid. So it doesn't get much better than that. She is a mermaid. Okay. But I'm also going to pick... I'm going to pick Carl Kittleson because he is probably the closest anyone has got to that kind of show aspect that I was just talking about. He does a weekly show called Closet Confessions, and I think he's got it down to a T, and I love that show. And I think he's a brilliant presenter. He's great with the comments. He's worked out something that really works on Periscope. So I love watching that. And him. And in general, he's a really nice guy. I also do think in terms of pushing the boat, trying cool new things, taking us to new heights today, Mitch Oates. I love Mitch. He is me, but I think with less hair. Does Mitch has got hair though, hasn't he? Like, I didn't just offend Mitch, did I? Mitch has hair. Hold on, I just need to search Mitch Oates. One sec, guys. You know when you just said something, you're like, hold on, did I just accidentally offend? Oh, it's because he's always wearing a hat. That's why. His profile picture's him wearing a hat. His new drone is great. Yes, he's got the DJ phone. He has short hair. So I'm right. He has hair, but I've got longer hair. Awkward. Alright, guys. 2 more questions. This has been a long one. Swipe back. Have you enjoyed this scope, by the way? Try asking questions. Should I do something like this again? Brexit. Derek. No, I think we should stay. I don't support football team. Good question, though. I'm an F1 kind of guy. Good, you've enjoyed it? Thanks. When is Brandy going to visit you? Ed. That's a really, really good question. We have tentative plans to do something, or for her to come over to Europe in... She's trying. There we go. She says in the chat she's trying. Start a GoFundMe. In all seriousness, not in all seriousness, guys, but if we actually did a GoFundMe for get Bralix back together somehow, how many of you would actually help? Because that would be hilarious, just to be able to say that the community has funded the next series of Bralix. Not that we're making a reality TV show out of this, guys. Do you ever wear your own t-shirt? Yes, I do, Jen. I do. Love you guys. I think that would be an amazing story if, like, just as a thing for Periscope, if two communities were able to make the meet happen. $100 from me. Want to see you guys together in London. Oh, AJ, you are too kind. You. All right, I am going to take. This is the last question now. Will I? I just said this is the last question now, and Sam's just come in here with... So, are you, mate, are you just going to ask Brandy to marry you, or what? I think you would do better than a lot of them. Snapchat or Periscope? Denise has come with a really tough question for me to ask. How many kids do you want? Guys, chill out. Alright, Sam, I will answer your question, but... I want to answer the Snapchat and Periscope. They're two very different apps, but I love them both. Mel's in! Everyone say hi to Mel. It's not over yet, Mel. It's not over until Mel arrives. So I think Snapchat, for me, I adore Snapchat because it allows me to be super creative and tell a story in the same way that Periscope does, but just with a bit more creative control, and I can think about it a bit more. I am going to do I'm going to tell you guys... I'm just going to say now, I'm going to do a tutorial, probably a bit more of a structured course about how I do my Snapchats. So there'll be more information on that on my Periscope channel soon. But I still love Periscope. I fell in love with Periscope the very first broadcast I did. And like all good relationships, we've had arguments. I've thrown a plate across the room at Periscope. I've sent emails telling Periscope that I'm not happy. But we've had great times too, and the great times are just like this, where there's a you, where there's you in this broadcast right now, and we're talking. I'm sideways. But yeah, your snaps are fun and creative. Thank you. Periscope is very young still, Jeffrey. Do you have any slogan? If anyone can think of a slogan for me, tweet it. Alex, Snapchat locked me out and wanted me against pre-recorded content. Oh, I was wondering how long that was going to take. So, AJ, the jailbreaking route seems to be fine. The third-party app route, you get the warnings. I love sharing is caring. Swipe left, swipe right on Android. Oh, yeah, that is my kind of slogan. That is true. Every broadcast you'll hear me say, so if you want to share this broadcast, swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click the share button, go and make a cup of tea, feed your pet tortoise. Stick to their timings, guys. Daily Agency from Australia. The guys from Australia. My favourite sentence in the world. What is the best Archon mount I should get for my trip to Florida? I'm an amateur. Mel, I missed the end of that. Just put the end and I'll answer it. But I think in general the best Archon mount you can get is the one I've lost. Oh no, here it is. It's this one. It's the 11-inch, I believe. 11 or 13-inch, I can never remember which one. Tripod. And then it comes with a little mount that you can put your iPhone into. The great thing about this, and I cannot tell you how much I've used these, is they come with bendy legs. Now, I've broken my arm, so it's very hard for me to actually bend them, but there we go. And so you can wrap it around trees. I wrapped it around my bike before I crashed my bike. Anything. 11-inch, Dana, thank you. Your gravestone will say swipe left and share. Maybe I will have that put on there. Now, that's quite a morbid thought, guys. Thank you for, predating me to my death. But, maybe it's a good sentence to have on there. What would be on my left-hand side? What's my biggest achievement and what's next, Betty Boop? I said one more, but I love your questions. Biggest achievement to date, I have to say, probably was the online TV show I did called The Fox Problem. If you haven't looked it up yet on YouTube, here's another kind of life lesson. If you get offered to do something, but you don't think you know how to do it, say yes to it, and then learn how to do it. And I did this with this thing. It was over, I think it was £1.7 million budget TV series. Only 6 episodes live on YouTube. It wasn't even going on actual TV. It was a live YouTube show. We had a budget of £1.7 million, I'm pretty sure it was. $1 million, that. No, pounds. That was pounds. Anyway. They asked me, they'd seen what I've done at university, and they asked me, can I make a TV studio with a 6-camera setup, all lighting and everything, ready to go live on YouTube every Tuesday. And we also need to bring in people like, we had Sir Richard Branson on the show, Commander Chris Hadfield, who is the astronaut from Canada, but has been to the International Space Station 3 times, an absolute legend. We had Spice Girls on the show, Mel C, music artists like John Newman, like actual celebrity, really incredible people in the studio or joining us via Skype. And so it was a big show. And when they asked me to do it, I remember I can picture it in my mind. I was sat on the sofa in front of the MD of the company, the creative director of the company, and the strategist of the company. And they're all sitting there in front of me, and they just asked, can you do it? And in that split second, I said to myself, I'm 70%, I didn't say this to them, I'm 70% sure I can probably just about pull this off. But there was 30% of me in my mind saying, you can't pull this off. But I just turned around and they will tell you clear as day, in that split second, I opened my mouth and was like, yeah, it'll be easy. And then I walked away from the meeting and I walked down the stairs and I went, shit, what have I just let myself in for? But the show went off without a hitch. The show cost $1.7 million, but it made $7 million. So it was a massive hit. And everyone was happy. And it worked. And it actually won me an award at the Brand Republic as a rising star in this kind of thing. And it just goes to show, sometimes you have to take those risks. And even if you're not 100% sure that you can do something, say yes, learn how to do it whilst you're on the job, and go for it. That's a great story. Thank you. Thank you very much, Atul. Alex, can you follow me back on Twitter and Periscope, please? Our Everyday Lives. Hold on. Our Everyday Lives. Yeah. On the job training. There was a very sketchy moment, though, where so I had one headphone on, and Sir Richard Branson, Virgin, was in one ear. Commander Chris Hadfield, the guy who has travelled around the world over 3,000 times, is on the other ear, is in my other ear. And I'm trying to get them to speak to each other via Skype. And so I'm like, Sir Richard, can you hear me? And he didn't have his headphones in. So I couldn't work out why he couldn't hear me and why Chris, the astronaut, couldn't hear he couldn't hear Chris. And I'm sitting here thinking, what have I done wrong? It was working absolutely fine. What have I done wrong? And then his PA was there, and she realised he didn't have his headphones in. But he's a lovely guy. Can you do split screens anymore? Yes, Jen. I can still do them. It's just time consuming. I just found out 65% I'm British through Ancestry.com. Cool, Jen. Will you meet him again at Formula E? Yeah, in London, Sir Richard Branson should be there. 90% sure he'll be there. So yeah, we will try and get a chat. Of course, last year, I had his Russian bodyguard pull me away. Hannah and Sam are both amazing people too. The daughter and son, yes. The son works what department now? Am I scoping the next Apple event? How many of you saw my last Apple event and thinks I should do it? And you think I should do it again? This broadcast has been long. Oh, he has a film company. Isn't that Virgin... AJ, I think it's like Virgin Short... Not Virgin Short something. Yes? Making documentaries. Yeah, okay. In that case, yes, I will cover the Apple event, which is July or June, I believe. No worries, Betty. Nothing to do with Virgin. I believe the Worldwide Developers Conference is coming up pretty soon, within a month or two. Yeah, WWDC, which is usually where they will announce the latest software stuff. So not necessarily hardware, but things like iOS 10 for your iPhone, things like whatever they're going to call the next software for your Mac OS X, which, if you want to place guesses on what it's going to be called, this latest one is El Capitan. I think we're going to have something to do with San Francisco next. We'll see. So yeah, I will cover that for you guys. You'll be able to watch it live on my Periscope. I may simulcast it to Facebook Live as well, or YouTube, something like that. Although it'll probably get taken down off YouTube. They might just call it OS X again. Would you consider making a podcast? You know, I used to have one. Before I got into radio, I used to record my own little podcast. I never put it anywhere. I just had it on a hard drive. Yes, I would. I would love to do a podcast. I just don't know what it would be about. I'm not sure. What do I think of the iPhone SE? Great little phone, cheap in terms of the grand scheme of things. And I think if you're looking for a secondary device, especially to Periscope with, they're great phones. All right, I keep saying 2 more questions, but I genuinely, I see questions and they're really good questions. I don't want to miss them. Am I coming to the UK Periscopers Summit? I think I have an email about that. I'm going to check it out, Bobby. At least sing, Jen. We can end on a song, but we have to sing together. Can you do a broadcast on how I do my Snapchats? Yeah, it's coming, Knockout Blonde. Still here waiting. Sam. Sam asked, what was your question again, Sam? Put it in the chat. Thanks for the info. Oh, you're organising one? I've had an email about a UK Periscoper event. Recommended drone, the DJI Phantom 4. European Periscope Summit? Not as far as I know. There will be one in London, though. How to get featured on Periscope. Just do great broadcasts. It does help if you are Australian as well. I'm joking, it doesn't. Will you ask Brandy to marry you? Today? It's way too soon. But I never write anything off in life. I've said on Periscope before I don't want to get married. I've said on Periscope before I don't want to have kids. But that's because I'm 24 right now. And as I look into the future, it's quite hard for me, as I say, the next 4 years. The next 4 years for me are... I'm 24, yeah. The next 4 years for me are have no dependencies. I also didn't like cats, that's true. Have no dependencies in terms of marriage or kids, and do some crazy things. You got married at 17, Mel? But as I look in more and more into the future, I wouldn't actually write anything out. It is, if I've learned anything probably in the last couple of months, it is how quick your life can change around. And how you can completely change your thoughts on things. We should just get Alex to do a scope about it. We invite all UK scopers. Bobby, what's that for? My Snap name is Alex Pettitt Snap. What do you think about driving and scoping? All right, yeah, this is a good one to end on. What do I think, Jen? What do I think about driving and scoping? I do not support it at all. It wasn't scoping at the time, but I had a friend who was actually killed by another friend of mine because of a car. And I saw the devastation that did, not just to the family, but to the friends. And also, the girl who died was a 14-year-old girl killed by a 16-year-old guy. And to keep the story very short, the 16-year-old guy was showing off in his new car out in the street, where where everyone was gathered and having a party outside a house. And when you show off with your new car and then you hit a curb on your new car and you plow your car into 16 teenagers who are standing outside the house, it looks like a war zone. And it caused so much devastation to the families of the people who were hurt, and then the person that was killed. Another person was brain damaged as well. It caused devastation to all of everyone. Like, the thing that was the worst was like I say, the person who actually killed, they were friends. And it's just, yeah, I don't like talking about it that much. So anyway, I don't condone any distracted driving, whether that be showing off in your car or whether that be, phone replying to a text, or whether that be Snapchatting, Periscoping. You will never see me in a car like looking at comments or Periscoping. So please don't. Oh, she said diving? Diving and Periscope is fine, guys. just to say, she diving into a pool, into snow, that's fine. Diving and Periscope is fine. But a good message nonetheless. I think that was a sign for me to go to bed. Love you guys. You keep me on my toes. And whoever told me yesterday, I think it was Daniela actually, I don't read the comments very well. It's true, I do misread them. Alright guys. So that is Q&A, or AMA I think we called it tonight. Over. Awkward moment. We love you more. Bed at 10 p.m. There's only one. There's only one. Never drive and scope, exactly. 10 past 10. He's pushing the boat out. I'm going to go and FaceTime Brandy, I think. I've got to go and explain as to why you guys grilled me about all that. Love your scopes, Alex. I will also do more bed scopes as well, because I miss doing those. I miss kind of connecting with you guys as much. The top tips are great. The sharing my life as I explored around Florida is amazing, but also it's good to just lay in bed. You missed the storybook scopes. Okay. Anyway, I've got to go, guys. You always keep me here. Thank you to everyone that shared. Also, big thanks to the pink and the purple hearts. You've been tapping away. I'm guessing that was probably maybe Knockout Blonde was tapping away, giving the hearts. So thank you for you guys who are hearting, and big thanks to everyone that shared, of course. And I do hope you enjoyed the AMA scope. It's not something that I usually do, but it is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So that's all from me. I will see you guys, of course, tomorrow. Don't know what with, but whatever happens, you'll be there, and I'll be there, and we'll both be there, and we'll chat. Bye.